Hi everyone, it's James here. Welcome to an unscheduled video. Hadn't intended to make this video today, but I've had a vinyl grail in the mail. And I haven't done one of these videos for many years. And I do have a vinyl finds video in the can, and it's going to be, I'll probably upload it in the next 2 weeks. So I thought I'd better just come on and show this now while the excitement is still burning. I have it in the in this bag here, in this parcel, but I'm sort of cheating because I have actually opened it already, but I'm going to sort of pretend for the purposes of this video that I haven't. So yeah, I'll quickly show the record, because if I don't, everybody will just fast forward to the bit where I show it and miss everything else. So here it is, a vinyl grail in the mail. It is this, Thomas Dolby, Astronauts and Heretics. I'll just get it out of its bag. This is a music on vinyl reissue, limited edition of 750 individually numbered copies on gold coloured vinyl. This is really exciting for me. Anybody who's watched my channel over the years might remember various videos in which I've talked about this album and a couple of other albums which I didn't buy on vinyl back in the day. Even though I'm not one of these people who junked all their records, you know, in the late 80s, early 90s, what I did do, which I regret it now, was that I stopped largely buying new vinyl records of new releases that came out, and instead I would gravitate towards the CD or even the cassette on some occasions. This is one of them. It came out in, I think it was 1991, 92, and it was a gift, actually, to be fair, this record. It was a gift from my friend David Chandler, who got me into Dolby anyway. But even if he hadn't have bought it for me, I would have picked up the CD at this point. And I don't remember ever seeing it in the shops as a vinyl edition. I think it did come out on vinyl. But as I said, there were a few of those records around about that time, and a bit later as well, which for some reason I just thought, well, you know, CDs are the thing now. And even though I'm not going to get rid of my records, I'm going to start buying stuff on CD instead. And as a result of that, there's a tiny handful of records that I bitterly regret now having picked up, and they are genuine vinyl grails for me. So we're talking about things like, it's mainly, you know, the Squeeze albums that came out post 92, 93, so from Some Fantastic Place onwards. Yeah, I wish I'd bought those on vinyl. Or, in fact, I think only one of them did come out on vinyl. I think it was only Some Fantastic Place that came out. And there were some McCartney albums later on which I didn't grab, and which have been re-released subsequently, and I picked them up. But this is one that I just always thought, well, this is never going to come out on vinyl, you know. I mean, for years and years I've been watching Record Store Day videos, and usually my standard comment on those videos is, there's just nothing on that list I want. You know, and I hear about people queuing up in the rain all night long to buy this, that or the other, you know, these kind of specially made records, and I just don't have any interest in that, really. There was nothing really ever on those lists that I kind of looked at and thought, wow, yeah, I really want that. I'm just not that kind of record buyer. I've no idea what that kind of record buyer is. I'm not making any value judgment on that, but that was just always, you know, I just never had any interest. But this record is one of the very few ones that I always used to say, if this ever came out on a Record Store Day list, finally, I would actually take a sleeping bag and queue up outside a shop to get it. I don't know if it would, if I'd have to beat off loads of competition to get it, but anyway, I didn't have to, because a few weeks ago I saw it come up on, I think it was a Thomas Dolby fan site, or, you know, something online. I could easily have missed it, actually. I saw it come up and it was £30 pre-order, and it just made my night immediately. I just clicked on it straight away, and I just thought, wow, fantastic. At long last, I'm going to get this on vinyl. So here it is. I'm going to show you the record. I'm not going to talk too much about this record, because I do want to feature it in an instalment of Revisiting, which is my regular series of reviews looking back on albums that mean a lot to me, and this is definitely one of those. I will give a quick sort of summary, but I'm not going to get into too much ins and outs. So I'll show you the record. It's this sort of gold vinyl that the David Bowie album came out on a few years ago. Which one was it? Ziggy, I think, came out, didn't it? This is part of a series of Thomas Dolby reissues, and I know that the Flat Earth has come out on blue, and I think all the albums have come out but I have them all on record. I have the first 4 albums on vinyl already, you know, as an original copy. So I'm not that fussed about buying new versions. But if it's a record like this, which you just can't get on vinyl, then I'm going to get it. And picture of Dolby there. This is in his hairless period. He's had a hair transplant in more recent times, but so this was when he had. He seems to be going full blown into the kind of strange alternative bald man of the 90s kind of look. So yeah, lyric sheet, and no other freebies, no download code or anything. It's nicely made. It's got a nice feel to it. It's matte. I can't believe I've got this on record. This is a genuine grail. You know, I've come on this channel over the years and talked about what is a vinyl grail, and I've been guilty of that thing which lots of people do, which is to show a record which is, you know, medium hard to find, or even quite hard to find, and you end up calling it a grail, and then, you know, the next week you find 2 copies of it in Oxfam, and you realise, actually, no, that's not a grail, really, is it? But this is genuinely a grail. Obviously, it would have been nice to have an original copy, but I've long ago given up on that. So, are you allowed to call a reissue a grail? I always end up umming and ahhing about this kind of thing. So this is number 66. Yeah, that's nice to have. What does it sound like? Well, that's the $1 million question. I was so nervous when I unpacked it. I thought, I can't wait to put it through the cleaner. I don't wash records until I've got about 10 or 11 ready to go. And at the moment, I've only got about 3 or 4 in the pile that need to be cleaned. So I thought, there's no way I can wait. So I did what I normally don't do, which is put a record straight on the turntable. And, you know, you'd think you'd be safe doing that with these new records, but often that's not the case. Often you end up finding that some of this new vinyl is even dirtier than some of the old stuff that you buy from charity shops. But and of course, because it's on gold vinyl, it was really difficult to tell whether there was any dirt on it or not. But I put it on, and it's really nice. It's really quiet, not perfect, but it's a really nice pressing, and the music just sounds tremendous. This is a great sounding record anyway. It's got a little bit of production on it. You know, it was early 90s, so it's not 80s production as such, but there's definitely a bit of a digital sheen on this record. But it's also a very rootsy album. Lots of lovely kind of, you know, Cajun sounds and New Orleans piano-y kind of vibe on some of the tracks, and just a wonderful depth of production. You know, Thomas Dolby is an absolute genius producer, and this was his album. This was the album that he made when he was trying, I think, to become a bit more mainstream, and there's some really great songs on this record. Things like Beauty of a Dream at the end, which has Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir on guitar. You've got the great single Close But No Cigar, fantastic Eddie Van Halen guitar solo on Eastern Bloc, Eddie Reader from Fairground Attraction guests on the song Cruel. And I put it on last night, and like I said, I'm not going to talk in depth about it, but it was a very emotional experience. This record, which I got in 92, I got it just after I graduated from, you know, being a student, and I'd moved to Leeds, moved to a new city, and just that sort of, I don't know, maybe a 12-month period. It's so rich in associations, you know, playing in my first band, the Postman's Walking Up the Drive, and we were gigging around the city and having a great time. There was all sorts of things going on, you know. It's a very exciting time being sort of 21, and it just seemed like a whole new life was opening up, and this album essentially soundtracked that. And you know, when I put it on last night and started listening to the opening track, just this great kind of surge of memories came over me, and it goes beyond nostalgia, really. I think when you get certain records, you know, you can easily dismiss it as being nostalgia, but it's more than that. It's when music or a certain record is definitely permeated into your, you know, just into the fabric of your inner life, and every time you hear it after that, particularly when it sounds tremendous. Like I said, you know, having heard it on CD for many years, and I've been streaming it a couple of times actually over the last couple of months, but I'm hearing sounds on it straight away, that classic vinyl thing. You know, when has it been remastered? It's on 180 gram audiophile vinyl. I don't think, I've got no evidence that it's been remastered, but it does sound tremendous. And that was, you know, that was without it being cleaned. There were a couple of moments towards the end of the first side when I was listening very carefully. The track I Live in a Suitcase, which is an incredible panoramic production, and I was listening really carefully thinking, can I hear a little bit of distortion coming through in some of the upper frequencies with the high voice? I thought, I'm not entirely sure. I listened on headphones and it was fine, so there might just be a thing going on with my speakers because I don't have freestanding speakers at the moment. But I'm going to give the record a wash, and then hopefully that will iron that out. But it's always very nerve-wracking when you get a record like this, which is such a grail. You just dread the idea of it going on the turntable and sounding terrible, you know, particularly as it's a limited edition, so it's not as if you can necessarily buy another one. Anyway, thought I'd better come on and do that video because, like I said, I didn't really want to delay the next Vinyl Finds video, so I won't put this out as a Vinyl Finds. I'll just do it as a special Grail in the mail video for the weekend. So, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.